Okay, did you say something?
Nope. I just saw that
Okay.
it popped up and it said it we're being live streamed. So I was like, ooh.
Yay. Okay, we
We are.
are live. Okay, it's working. I can see
It's
it. It's working. I'm so
working.
excited. All right. Good morning, everybody. I'm so excited to be going live this morning. I have a very special guest. This is Tiffany. I'm going to introduce her in a moment. But first of all, thank you everyone for watching. I'm just going to give everyone a moment to stream in. And so I'm Rachel. For those who don't know me, I am a nurse. I am a holistic health coach. I help people unlock greater creativity and live more vibrant lives. People who are stuck creatively, I help them move through that. And so I'm really excited to go live today. It's been a while since I've gone live on my own page. And today I have an amazing, incredible guest. So this is Tiffany Homan. Some of you guys might know her, some of you may not. And I'm just going to kick this off by asking Tiffany to introduce herself. So Tiffany, can you just tell everyone a little bit about who you are, what you do, who you help, and yeah, anything else you want to share?
Yes, absolutely. I don't have like a beautifully put together introduction like you, so I'm going to do my best. But my name is Tiffany Homan. I am very similar to Rachel. I'm a board certified nurse coach, but I just like to call myself a deep transformative life coach. So basically what that means is I love to take a dive on the deep end with my clients. I love to uncover anything that's kind of been holding them back from just stepping into their self in the present, right? So I'm all about being connected to present self so we can allow ourselves to pass some of the things that we've been holding on to from our past. And I work with all different types of people. I work with males, females, entrepreneurs, new nurse coaches. I have no specific person. I like to work with everyone. So anyone that likes to just do the deep dive, we don't stay surface here, which is like
Love it.
exciting but scary to people sometimes who've never done it before.
Love it. Oh my God. Love it so much. So yes, I love what you do. I love who you serve. I love that you do not stay surface level. So Tiffany and I have been in the same mentorship group for the last, I don't know, it's been over a year. It's been like 15 months. We've shared a container.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we've had like a front row seat to each other's growth. We have seen each other through a lot of things. We have seen the ups, the downs, the triumphs, the tribulations. We have seen it all. And it's just been super cool to, yeah, to have a front row seat to see everything that you're doing and you taking courageous action and just like throwing yourself into things and just being a leader. No, really, you have taught me so much about messy action and just growing capacity for the uncomfortable, like just doing scary things. It's so much of what I have drawn from just being in your amazing space and in your energy. Yeah.
Just like
Yeah.
even hearing that, it's like so crazy thinking back on that, where it's like, yeah, we started out as complete babies in our businesses, and now we're over a year in. And I think like where we started, because it's like you kind of know, but like you don't fully know, to like where we've now really transcended into ourselves, and we're still figuring that out. But yeah, it has been so cool just to be able to, I think, especially because we've always been so drawn to one another, where it's like, I don't know what this person's about, but like I'm loving it. And we've just
Yeah.
gotten to connect on such a deeper level. So it's amazing, especially when starting something so new.
Yes. When you're starting a business, your tribe is everything. Everything.
Everything,
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. Oh my God. I wanted to ask you about somatic work. So I feel like you are the somatic lady. You are my person that I turn to when I have questions about anything somatic. Can you just like give us a little like really intro for people that don't know what somatic work is, but that don't know what somatic experiencing is? I'm super passionate about it. It's been transformative in my life, with my children, with learning how to be in my body, with learning how to embody who I am, learning how to sit with uncomfortable emotions, all of these things. I love somatic work, but you're somebody that I turn to when I have questions. You've guided me somatically before. And so can you give us a little bit of like a real intro on what somatic work is for people that have no idea what somatic experiencing is?
Yes, absolutely. Because I had absolutely no idea what it was when I first was kind of introduced to it as well. And the best way to explain it is, at least in the practices that I utilize with my clients that I'm learning, because there's so many different variations. I recently had somebody ask me, like, what's the difference between like somatic breath work versus like what it is that you do? And so I like to say, right, like when we're thinking of breath work, this is a very intentional way to tap into breath, to move energy through breath. But what I do somatically wise is really tapping into the nervous system, really becoming present with your body, with the sensations that occur. It's really kind of communicating and learning a new language of the body. A lot of us sometimes, most of us, right, we conceptualize, we're intellectual thinkers. And this is just a really different way to learn how to connect with yourself in order to build capacity for the things like we were speaking about, for the things that are uncomfortable. So often we have things that become stored in our body that we don't even realize. And this is such a way to be able to learn how to tap into them. This is how we break these, the cycles, the self-sabotage, and we're really able to just build capacity for what's presently happening. Because what I learned over time was, right, for those of you that do not know me, I had an extremely toxic relationship that I was in for almost 10 years. And I think oftentimes I would come to our calls so frustrated, being like, this stuff is showing up for me. It's been over 7 years. Like, why can't I move past this? It was so frustrating to me. I had talked about it a million times, and yet I still couldn't seem to move past it. And being able to introduce somatic practices, this was such a key component for me in being able to unlock so much that I just didn't realize was still being held within me. Sometimes there are certain things you cannot talk your way out of, that you just can't talk. For people that maybe talk therapy by itself hasn't worked alone, this is such an amazing modality to add to it. So being able to realize when we really slow down, so often in this society, right? Like, we're so busy and we're moving on to the next thing, that we have to, as you know, when I was guiding you through it, like, it's really difficult to be able to slow yourself down and to notice, oh, there's a little fire on my face, and to notice what is becoming present. Even with things that we think are going to be easy, we're like, yeah, I'm doing this thing, it's so easy. But when we slow down, we're like, oh my gosh, I'm actually noticing that, like, my chest is tight, or that my breathing kind of became a little bit more rapid. And so when we can actually slow down and become present with what is showing up currently, we can start to really rewire and shift things. This bug is going to keep like it keeps like wants to chill with me. But as I was saying, we can really just learn how to build that capacity. And the big thing that makes a lot of people uncomfortable is a lot of us haven't stepped presently in our body because it is uncomfortable. We're runners, right? We jump into that fight or flight. We're like, oh, I don't want to feel this. This is uncomfortable. And so being able to do this, what's really cool is it's not necessarily go super big, super fast. It's actually like, yeah, what does it look like if we just take that and look at it by 2%? Like, can we sit with it just a little bit longer, and really understanding what like pain versus discomfort is in the body, so we can sit with things that are uncomfortable and not actually painful. Because oftentimes when our bodies notice something that feels uncomfortable, we don't want to do it a lot of the times, right? Especially when we have really heavy stories from our past, those of us who've experienced a lot of trauma, like, we jump into our natural response, which some of us have been conditioned to run or be avoidant or to freeze, whatever that might look like for you. And it's different at different times. So it's just really being able to understand the language of our body, and to be able to have more compassion for it.
Oh my God, so powerful. Oh, I love it so much. Yeah, it's so much of somatic work is just learning your body. And it's funny because when I explain somatic work to people, and I'm by no means an expert, but I have utilized it in my own life, and particularly with my children, where it's had the most impact. And when I explain it to people, they're like, I don't get it. What is it? And I'm like, it's just getting to know your body. That's all it is. It's learning your nervous system and learning how to tap into that. And it's like, it's amazing. It's incredible how much of a shift that can create in your life. And it's so much, I mean, it ties so much into like mindfulness and just conscious living and slowing down and all the other things that we teach. But it's like really this focus on your nervous system, because our nervous system determines everything. And when we start to create this space and we start to zoom out a little bit and we start to get a little bit of awareness around our own patterns and how we function in the world, we start to realize how much of it is unconscious and how often we're just unconsciously choosing, like reaching for numbing agents, or we're just distracting ourselves, or we're running away from our pain. And we don't even realize we're doing that until we're able to take a deep breath and feel our feet on the ground and have a, like, a safe space where someone can just guide us through these thoughts and these feelings and these sensations in our body. And it's amazing, because that's where very rapid transformation starts to happen, when you start to get this ownership over your life and you start to realize like, oh, I do have control. Like I do have the ability to sit with this pain for a minute, or sit with this discomfort, or explore this sensation in my body. So it's just, for me, it's been really, really transformative. And I just love the work that you're doing, and just helping people tap into this. It's so powerful.
Yeah, no, I love that you said that, because that's the big thing, right? It's being able to recognize that we have choice and to bring safety into our body when many of us maybe didn't have safety for a long time. Like I can speak for myself. There was a time where I didn't have access to certain choices that I do today. And that's why with somatic work, it's so amazing, because we get to show what's presently going on, because our body only goes based off of past memories, right? And so when we have done things for so long, just like you said, subconsciously, we just tap right back into that old pattern, because that's what it knows and that's what it's used to. And through this type of work, we get to show it, wait, hold on, like we are safe now. Are we safe, and are we safe enough in this moment? That's a question I ask all the time, because so often our bodies don't know, they can't tell time. They often time travel right back to a really painful moment that we were unable to process at the time, because we didn't have the capacity or enough safety to do so.
Yeah. Yeah. So powerful. Yeah. And yeah, totally. Like these patterns that just show up again and again and again. I see it with my kids. Like I have been stuck with certain things with my children for years, for like, my entire tenure as a parent. I've just been struggling with some of the same things again and again and again. And somatic work was kind of like the key that turned the lock and helped me. It helped me. It helped my children. We like, they know when mommy's stressed, she takes her deep breaths. Like they get it. They get that this is a way to function in the world, that we don't have to feel crappy all the time. And we can make space for that. We can make space for when things are uncomfortable. And it's been super, super, yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. And I just love it. Yeah, I want to ask you, Tiff, so what has been your biggest challenge, like growing a business? And again, you're someone that grew a business pretty rapidly. You kind of threw yourself into it. Like you went all in. What's been the biggest learning for you in this, this time?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I would say the biggest learning for me was just that there's not one right way. Um, I think as like a former rule follower here, like I used to really have a difficult time, because the way that I do things is a little bit different. And the way that I want to create my business is different from other people's. And I had a really hard time with that in the beginning. And just like you said, even though out of the gate, I was, right, like successful, but I had a really hard time letting that be true. And I had this definition of like what successful meant, or what it meant in the past. And so it was really, really unlearning some of this old conditioning, especially as somebody who never, ever thought that I was going to be in the entrepreneur world. Like if you would have asked me 10 years ago, I would have laughed in your face and been like, absolutely not. This was not something that I saw myself doing. And so it was really unlearning this like grip that I had on what I was going to be doing, because I had a really hard time with change. Change was like terrifying to me. And to say that it doesn't still scare me sometimes is, I would be lying. I think that it scares most of us, right? Because it's giving up this part of control that we so desperately want. And so that was a really, really big thing for me. And just learning that I didn't have to have it all figured out in that moment, and that it was okay. I say this so much with my clients, especially my new entrepreneurs, is like, what is one step that we can take today? And really learning how to be unattached. That was something that I had to learn so deeply, especially because in the beginning, I was having a lot of ease when it came to connecting with people and working with people. And eventually, you're going to run into moments where people don't. And learning not to make it mean something, because we're so often, right? Like we want to make meaning out of everything, and learning not to do that, learning to be like, that's their story. And that doesn't take away from how powerful of a coach I am or who I am as a person. I had to do so much work around belief and building that and building capacity for my business, which I work on every single day. Like I don't think there's ever like an end point. In the beginning, I really thought there was, and there just isn't.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I relate to this so much, particularly what you said at the beginning about you never envisioned yourself as being an entrepreneur. And so my story is so similar. My dad was an entrepreneur, okay, and for better or for worse, yeah. And you know, he's had success, he's had challenges, all sorts of things. But when I went to college, it was like, what job can I get that I can literally just clock in and get a paycheck? And that's part of why, not the only reason I chose nursing, but it's part of why I chose nursing. And I never envisioned myself as a business owner. I was someone that liked to kind of, I mean, I was a leader in my workspace, but I also like to just kind of I liked night shift. I like to show up. I like to do the thing. And the thought of starting a business was just terrifying. And stepping into that identity, I think, is the biggest mind F. Am I allowed to swear on Facebook? Is just like stepping into that identity of like, I am outside the box. I get to make up my own rules. And it's funny because it's like, it's often something we crave when we're employees, right? We're like, I wish I could have the freedom to say whatever I want. I wish I could just, make my own schedule. And then when you get it and you become an entrepreneur, you're like, holy shit, like what? I have to make my own schedule. Like I get to say whatever I want on Facebook. Like it feels like kind of floaty and like there's no barriers. And that's where the growth is. That's why I feel like being an entrepreneur is a spiritual journey, because you learn so much about yourself and your beliefs, and you get to make the rules. You get to decide where the boundaries are, like where, and it's like, it's terrifying. But once you're able to just like embrace that, it's like, I think of a roller coaster or like kite surfing or anything scary. Like if you are able to surrender to the process, if you're able to just be like, okay, here we are, like, and just like scream your way down the drop on the roller coaster, it's just so much more enjoyable. And I just love that, how like you didn't totally identify with that at the beginning. And that was probably the biggest shift, is like stepping into that new identity and being like, yes, I am a leader, even though inside you're like, it doesn't match. Oh my God, they're going to figure out that I'm a fraud, and like all those thoughts that we have.
So true. Yeah, it's so true. I mean, there are even still days where I'm like, I have to like step back and I have to ask myself, and I'm like, this is still what I want, right? Like this is still aligned, because like I said, I think it's just this continuous learning process. And I think what is so fun about it is like, I think that was something that also scared me when I walked into this world as well, where I was like, oh my gosh, like what if I decide this isn't for me? Like, and then I would have to come out to the world and like they all see me doing this business and I'm quote unquote successful. And like, what if I had to go back to the bedside and like, again, making all this meaning, which caused me to play small a lot of the times, because I was like trying to figure out what my escape plan would be if it didn't work out the way that I thought it was supposed to. And when I was able to be like, yeah, this could all burn down tomorrow, and like I would be okay. Like I would be okay. And I think reminding myself that, like, that was supportive for me. It doesn't work for everyone. Some people are like, no, Tiffany, I would never go back to bedside. Like I'm gonna work at a lemonade stand before I do that. And like that's fine. But I know that was like one of the conversations we've had before. We were like, no. And I'm like, and perfect, that's okay. So, but I think there are just some people out there that just need permission to know, like, yeah, there's no right or wrong way to do it, unless if you make one, like, which we're good at doing.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's a very powerful tool that I use, is like that worst case scenario. Like, what is worst case scenario if this doesn't work out, if everything goes wrong? Like, let's go with it. And I do that often with clients where it's like we're freaking out about something, we feel like we're hitting a wall, we can't move forward. And it's like, let's go there. Like, let's picture the absolute worst possible thing that can happen. And it's so empowering, because often the worst possible thing that will happen is like, I'll have to go find a job. Like, I'll have to go do the thing I was doing before, or like someone will be disappointed in me. Like, it's usually not as big as we tend to make it in our heads, because our nervous system is so primed to be like, it's a saber-toothed tiger. And meanwhile, it's
Yeah.
like, okay, like maybe it's just some less than ideal situation and you can navigate it just like you've navigated it in the past. And so, yeah, entrepreneurship has been so much about learning that, like, it's okay. Like, it's not, it's not, yeah, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, that's really why I love introducing like the somatic modalities, especially to my new coaches, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish I had this tool when I first started out, because it would have saved me so much. Like, right, like nervous system work, it doesn't take away all of the scary things that, right? Like life is gonna life. Like I cannot take away things happening and unfortunate events. Like they are going to occur, but being able to just build that capacity to know like I'm going to be okay. Like no matter what happens, if I have to get a job to support myself while I continue down this journey, whatever it looks like just being able to know that that's okay for me. And like,
Yeah.
so that's why I'm like, I want to do this with everyone that I get my hands on, because it's so needed. And I'm like, past Tiffany, like she would be so thankful for the things that I do now. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. So powerful. Oh my God. I love it. Love it. Yeah. Okay. So I feel like we're almost at time. Like, I'm going to wrap up soon. I just want to ask you if you have any last thoughts, anything that you really want to share with people that you really want people to know.
Yeah, I think again, it just like comes back to like you get to make your business, you get to make your healing journey, like you get to make that all work for you. Like I'm even looking at my surroundings right now and I'm like laughing so hard because it's like I'm sitting in a YMCA's lobby right now. And like a year ago, like I would have been like, oh my God, absolutely not. Like again, it has to look this certain way. And it's like you get to let your business work for you and just really building that capacity to like get creative and to have fun. Because I think when we take the fun out of doing this work and transforming ourselves, our mindsets, going on vacation, opening the business, whatever that looks like, then like what's the actual point? Like this was something I used to say to myself a lot of like, if I can't enjoy the heck out of myself while I'm doing this, then why am I creating this? Why am I connecting with people? So I think really just being able to notice and realize, and this is again why I love this somatic style work, being able to build capacity for like what joy in your life you can celebrate today, because there is always something to celebrate, even when life is lifing and going absolutely crazy. You get to bring that forward and really illuminate it so other people can see that too, because if you can't see it, it's really really hard to keep going in
Yeah.
whatever capacity that looks like. And it's dark. And like
Yeah.
broaden your tribe. I think like that's
Yeah.
also like my second thing is like surround yourself with people that inspire you, not that you can compare to, not that's going to make you feel bad, but like letting yourself find people that make the impossible look possible, and like sitting there and learning from them or connecting with them, because that was something that I had a really hard time with too. Like I played the comparison game, and when I was able to like flip it into like what inspires me that they have, what is it that draws me towards them, I was really able to show up so much different, so much more powerfully in my own life.
Yeah, yeah. So have fun and broaden your tribe. I love it. I love the have fun one today. So this week I kind of like cleared my calendar because it's summer and my kids are home from camp this week. And so today, after this call, I'm going to be taking them to like a mudslide. There's like a mudslide like in Huntington Beach. And I've never been, but it's like literally like they give the kids like pieces of cardboard and they just get like filthy. Like, and this is like my nightmare. Like I'm just like but I'm throwing myself into it. We're going to have a blast. And so that was just such a good message. I just, yeah, it's really about having fun. Like, what's the point if you're not going to have fun? Like, why did we create this if we're not going to have fun? And it's a reminder that I constantly need for myself. You know, sometimes I'll just jot down at the beginning of the week, like intentions, like have fun, or like make social media fun, because social media is something I often struggle with, and I make it a bigger deal than it is. And it's like, just have fun with social media. Like, just, yeah, that's the point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's something I speak to a lot of people about, because they're like, how do you show up online, or how do you do this? And I'm like, you just have to be so detached from it, and you have to just be able to have fun. I think when we come from this place of like trying to tell the perfect story, trying to make the perfect post, trying to do things with this like perfected light, it stops you from like taking action. And the truth is, like, right, I say this all the time, like practice makes progress. It's like we just get to show up in a way that feels really, really good to us, in a place that illuminates us, so we can do that. Because if we aren't having fun, then truly, like, what is the point? If we can't have fun in our relationships, in our business, as a parent, like in whatever capacity, at your job, even though like there were moments that I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be here, like finding those moments that felt really, really good, because anything you do can feel draining, even entrepreneurship, anything. So it's like, can we find the ways that it feels good? Can we bring play into it so we can keep going?
Yeah. Yeah. So good. So good. Have fun. Yeah, it's huge. Okay, amazing. I'm going to wrap this up. I am so, first of all, appreciative to everyone who watched. Thank you everyone for the comments. I have a hard time when I'm like casting from Zoom, like reading the comments. So like, I'm not going to go there. Usually I like to like read the comments and answer questions. I'm not going to do that today. But thank you, Tiffany, for coming on my wall. The last time you went live with me was by mistake. Like, I went live and you hit the wrong button, and all of a sudden you were like live on my page, and you just rocked it. Like, we just went with it, and it was super fun. So again, queen of messy action here, everyone. So yeah, thanks again for hopping on with me today. Do you want to tell everyone real quick just where to find you? Where can people find you if they don't know?
Yeah, definitely. People can find me. I am usually on Facebook or Instagram. So Facebook, I'm just Tiffany Homan. I do have a Facebook group as well. I think it's like Breaking Free with Tiffany Homan Coaching or something. I can post it. That's awful that I don't even know my own name. And then Instagram is also, it's Tiffany Homan Coaching. So those are the ways. I do not have a website, queen of no website here.
She just got Zoom, guys.
Yeah.
Just got Zoom. Love it. Love it. Awesome. All right. Thank you so much, Tiffany. I'm just going to make one quick announcement. If anybody has been eyeing my course, it is launching in a few weeks. I have only a few spots. My prices go up August 1st. So if anyone is interested in hearing more, really just reach out to me. It's a no strings attached phone call. This is an amazing, amazing, amazing course. It will teach you to be more creative, to unlock your creative potential. If you are struggling to show up creatively, if you are struggling to be expressive, all of those things, we dive deep into that. And it's really just an amazing, amazing space. So reach out to me if you want to hear more about that. I'm just going to throw that out there. And again, thank you everyone for listening. And yeah, have a wonderful Monday, you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Goodbye. All right. I'm going to, how do I stop streaming?